Hit the button on recall. It's easy to find.
Let me turn that down low. Put that on mute.
You're gonna get low.
Get low. Get low. All right. Load up my video so I can see who's joining. Okay.
Yes. Hi, Gail. All right. So, with no type of ado, we find our countdown video here, which we didn't test ahead of time.
I'm sure it's gonna be fine.
Well, let's take a look. Let's test it out with a Shri. Woo's your mama?
This week on the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast, we bring you Yo Joe, some flute news, something that Mama said, some prison shoes, new music from one of our favorite artists, and a visit from UHHM Executive Director Rocky Bucano. What else? Let's listen.
It's not just any day. It's Mr. Throwback Thursday.
All you kids want to get on and shit.
You are now about to witness the strength of street knowledge.
I'll be damned. At the count of three, I want y'all to tell me the name of my DJ.
1, 2, 3. And now, here's your hosts, Bill Winters and Mr. Throwback Thursday himself, Jamie Robinson.
And a pleasant good evening to everybody. Welcome to Mr. Throwback Thursday, episode 346. It is your two favorite hip-hop heads. Bill is up in New York. Jamie is down in Virginia. How are you, my friend?
I am well. It's good to see everybody here. All the way down to the bank that Steady B robbed. Hillside Hustlers coming in strong.
Wow.
That was a deep dive. I appreciated that one.
That is a very deep dive.
Well, Richie and the Wacko Assassin are there together.
Of course.
And Brian and Gail are there together. All kinds of people going on tonight.
Yeah. Jeremy Ferrone joining us. As you said, Richie and the Wacko Assassin. The Dunmires are here. Whoever we have on the YouTube feed. The bank that Steady B robbed. That's fantastic.
It's better than the cop that Cool C shot.
Did we want to inform everybody of what took place before we came on?
We can. The patrons know because they are the first to know everything. And they are the only ones who are guaranteed to hear what happened. But you can tell everyone else where to go to find what else just happened.
We have started a new venture in hopes of, as the kids say, going viral.
Yes, at our age, that usually requires penicillin, but this is a whole different thing.
Or some other alternative as such. We are going to have our own Instagram feed of Bill Reed's lyrics. So
yes, so it will be all Bill Reed's lyrics video all the time.
I may end up having its own TikTok channel in the future, too.
You never know. That is well out of my league.
Yeah, I know. Video-wise, I've been freezing a little bit, but the audio is fine.
And that's the key. As long as the audio stays straight, we know the video is going to catch up.
That's the plan, anyway.
Yes. We hope that the video catches up. How about that?
Especially since we're going to have another visit tonight. If all
we
goes
are.
Well. We have hip-hop headlines. We have Woo News.
Maybe.
Possibly. We have it just in case things go south. Let's put it
Yes,
that
you
way.
always got to have a contingency plan.
We have a one and done. Maybe.
Yes.
We have a record of the week. Definitely. We always have a record of the week.
Yes.
We'll remind you who the artist of the month is. We will have an old to the new, most definitely.
We will. One way or another, we're getting that on.
I will read some lyrics, as I may have possibly already done before. We're going to...
Get a double dip if you're a patron.
We're going to remind everybody what the Fresh Flicks will be and when we're going to have it. And then we'll put a big old bow on this thing. But everything else is kind of wrapped around a very... We're pretty much 98% sure we're going to have a special presentation again tonight.
Yes.
So we're going to go with that.
That's the plan.
And the plan would be that I believe they're joining us at probably 49 minutes from now.
Right around there, yeah, that's the plan.
So we should probably get going and start with some hip-hop headlines. What do you say?
Sound like a plan.
To the hip, dip, the hop, you don't stop, don't stop. Got some flex with the real hip hop, hip hop. To the hip, dip, the hop, you don't quit, don't quit. Got some flex and we came to rip shit, rip shit. To the hip, dip, the hop, you don't stop, don't stop. Got some flex with the real hip hop, hip hop. To the hip, dip, the hop, you don't quit, don't quit.
This is Hip Hop Headlines brought to you by Mr. Throwback Thursday.
We'll get on it. It's your time.
It is my toin, and my toin is a little disturbing to start with this week.
I said I needed to get this one done out of the way and let us recover for the rest of the show.
It could almost be a Bill Reads Lyrics hip-hop headlines edition, but it's not.
Yeah.
You have entitled it...
Headlines.
Bill Reads Headlines. Say it ain't so, Joe.
Yeah.
And this comes to us, as I said, from Hot New Hip Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Joe Budden is accused of masturbating his dog in Sin Santana's alleged legal papers. Joe Budden announced that he was leaving Spotify after contract negotiations went left, and since then, things have been pretty messy in his life.
Because of the dog. It's messy 10 cc's at a time.
Why? Why did I know that was going to be the first thing?
It just happened, man. It's natural.
First, Tahiri Jose came forward with abuse allegations against him, which he responded to on his podcast, because everybody kind of forgets sometimes that Joe Budden has a podcast.
Yes, he does.
Then, I'm very comfortable saying you were abusive, responded Joe. You used to beat my ass, you threw shit, you hit me, you kicked me, you did a whole bunch of shit. That's not the big thing.
No,
then,
that's disturbing in itself.
If that's disturbing, then...
Yeah,
then,
we go a little more down the measuring stick of disturbing.
I read the headlines, so people know what's coming. Then a week later, Joe was back in the news because of a leaked phone call between himself and his ex-fiancée, Sin Santana. According to her, Joe once physically dragged her around the house during an in-person meetup. He also allegedly, I should say, kicked her and their son Lexington out of his house, having not once sent them a dime to support themselves. Shortly after the phone call leaked, more information was released from Sin Santana's alleged court documentation, which explains Joe's problem with substance abuse and more. She outlines some of his questionable behavior, including kissing their son on the lips, which she is trying to stop, and more. Well, how old is the kid? That's
12.
See, that's a problem.
I don't know how old he is.
In the 25th section of the court documents, 25 sections in,
yes,
Sin allegedly speaks about Joe's relationship with his dog. People are understandably running to social media and discussing what is said, picking apart the retired rapper because of it. Defendant has a male dog whom he loves and showers with attention, allegedly, writes Sin in the legal paperwork. While most of defendant's interactions with the dog are appropriate, I have observed on several occasions one particularly bizarre behavior by defendant. Without putting too fine a point on it, suffice to say that defendant has not only expressed concern for the dog's lack of a sexual partner, but has personally assumed responsibility for relieving any pent-up canine sexual tension. Those are actual words that I just read. Pent-up canine sexual tension.
Yeah. Now, you got a really, really good relationship with your dog.
I love my dog, but
But you don't know when your dog's got blue balls or needs a little hand. These are not things that you know.
No.
The dog's not telling you.
Nope.
Dog's telling Joe.
Maybe the dog's humping Joe's leg.
Maybe, and he goes, I know what the problem is.
I know what that is, yes. Anyway, let's get back to pent-up canine sexual tension.
Look, am I the only one? I don't know if you guys watch South Park, but am I the only one who's seen a South Park episode in his head?
No.
Because hold on. I got to do this. Hold on. Oh, it's muted. Oh, now I gotta go back because the site's muted because I didn't want stupid stuff playing loud.
John, you are just in time. John Henderson just joined us.
Hold on. I'll have to edit the hell out of this, but hold on. Allow sound. There we go. Now let's try this.
Red Rocket! Red Rocket! Come on! Carmen, what the hell are you doing? I'm milking the dog. They make dog milk. No, they don't. No, they do. Yeah, just hold on a minute. The fifth grader showed us how to do it. Red Rocket! Come on, dog. Red Rocket! Red Rocket!
So Joe Budden played a little game of Red Rocket.
Pent-up canine sexual tension. Ugh.
Red Rocket.
Yuck. Defendant, for reasons I cannot fathom, has personally masturbated the dog. Defendant repeatedly states that he sees this function as his responsibility since there are no, quote, bitches, unquote, around to provide a sexual outlet for the dog.
You would think Joe would go out and buy his dog a bitch.
Time that bitches has been used accurately in any
show?
hip-hop article ever on the show.
Yeah, you would think that Joe would go out and buy his dog a bitch instead of trying to milk the dog and play fucking Red Rocket. I wonder if the fifth graders told him that.
Pent-up canine sexual tension. God, if we didn't have a special guest this week, I already know what the title of this week would be.
And I would feel so bad having Rocky on and calling the show Red Rocket.
Red Rocky.
I can't do that. That would just spoil a relationship.
That would be awful. Ugh. The legitimacy
This will only be in the live and patron versions.
The legitimacy of these documents is unclear, but if somebody were faking this, they'd be going through a lot of effort to type out a legal document containing dozens of pages and the term pent-up canine sexual tension. Since Santana has responded,
I want to watch Rocky Horror for some reason now. I don't know.
I'm horrified already. Responded to the leaked phone call saying, "So, it's not a secret that Joseph and I broke up over a year and a half ago. It's no secret. We're in the public eye. We're in the limelight. We're public figures. My family is a real family with real blood in their veins, with a heart, with a mental. We're still human beings." With a mental?
Yes. Find out my mental based on instrumental.
This? And then, everybody's just putting up bad memes about.
Oh, I'm sure. Red Rocket. And the dog's name in that episode? Sparky.
Joe Budden says, "Pump it up," and his dog is like, "That Nickelback spitting." So, apparently Joe Budden jacks off his dog.
That's allegedly.
Allegedly. But it's in court papers.
It is.
So, whether it's true or not, it's part of the public record now.
It is. And it is part of the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast.
Yes. Our next article comes to us from Distractify.com. We are going to try to distractify you from pent-up canine sexual tension.
I take great pleasure in the titling of this week's articles.
And then you call this one Andre 3 Floutin'. And when I first saw the title, I said, what the hell is he talking about? And then I read the article and I said, okay.
Okay, player.
You could have went Ian Andre 3000.
I thought about it, actually.
But anyway, reclusive rapper Andre 3000 spotted playing his flute in L.A. Now, there's a
Not
comic
playing his
I
dog's flute.
No, that's Joe Budden playing the dog's skin flute.
Red Rocket.
Red Rocket. Yuck. When you're listing the most influential people of the early 2000s, you'd be remiss not to include Outkast's Andre Lauren Benjamin, a.k.a. Andre 3000.
Yes.
We could go on and on about the many, many ways he influenced so many people's lives, starting back in the late 90s and continuing until, well, now. But we don't need to do that because obviously you already know about Andre 3000. Everybody does. And if you don't, go watch Key and Peele.
Yes.
Only it's probably likely that it's been a while since you last saw him, right?
It's been a while.
Pretty much every... Not that kind of podcast, man.
No.
Pretty much every single person on Earth saw him in the music video for Hey Ya. And then
I
what?
told you I just saw him on that AMC show,
Yes, you did.
Dispatches from Elsewhere.
What happened to Andre 3000? Don't worry, he seems to be doing great. And he's still bringing people tons
The noise
of
and the
joy.
funk. He's bringing the noise and bringing the funk.
With Savion Glover.
Because you've
And
never
Peppa
seen on him before.
And Peppa as Boo. Who is she? She's Joe Budden's dog.
Yes.
What
No,
happened
because
to
that would be a
Andre
bitch, which is what his dog is missing.
No, his dog's a male. He needs a bitch.
I know. That's what I'm saying. See, the bitch is what he's missing.
Andre 3000 has certainly taken a step back from the spotlight in recent years. He's made a few public appearances, including a 2014 Outkast reunion tour, but other than that, has kept very under the radar. In a 2017 interview with GQ, he spoke a bit about being diagnosed with a, quote, social thing, end quote, that may explain some of his absence from the public eye. Richie says he ran into him in the airport in Copenhagen.
Oh, Joe Budden's dog? Or Andre Benjamin?
Andre Benjamin, I would think.
Okay.
I didn't notice it until I became an entertainer, he said. I don't know if it's the shock of all kind of people coming up to you or the expectations, but I got to this place where it was hard for me to be in public without feeling watched or really nervous. It started to bleed over into my normal life. I'd just meet new people and I would freak out or have to leave. You don't want to explain it because you don't want to be a weak link around your friends. I never told my crew for a long time, so I just started getting to myself, spending more time with myself, and stopped touring. Maybe he bought a dog.
Maybe.
And it felt great for me to do that because it's like, whew, I don't like that life. I don't like that confrontation. Despite keeping a low profile, Andre has still kept busy. He said that he's recorded hours and hours of music files, but has also designed an entire line of merchandise for Anita Baker and his own clothing line called Benjamin Bixby.
Does he have a haircut like Anita Baker?
But does he go all Incredible Hulk like Bill Bixby? Yes, John, that's what that means. Recently, Jeff Staple, founder of Staple Design and apparently a huge fan of Andre's, met up with the rapper at the Grove in L.A. As luck would have it, Jeff happened to be wearing a shirt Andre himself had designed. Dope shirt, Andre says in the video, while also holding a large wooden flute. It appears he had been playing the flute just prior to the video. Not a bad way to spend more time. He's fucking Zamfir.
He is. Terry Crews plays the flute, too.
I know.
I don't know what kind of level either one of them are on, but I know they both
Crews
play.
is actually not bad. Some people were a bit worried upon seeing the video of Andre and his flute, perhaps because he shows some signs of aging. However, as we already mentioned, it's been a while since Andre's last public appearance, and people age. Obviously, we don't know how Andre spends his personal time, but he seems to be happy just living his life. After Jeff's interaction with Andre started going viral online, people began posting their own pictures they had taken with Andre over the years, as well as videos of him playing his flute in public. It appears as though despite mostly staying out of the public eye, Andre still makes plenty of time for his fans and is willing to take photos with them when they spot him out in the world.
He's like Waldo.
Obviously, famous people are still people, and needing some personal time is totally understandable. Hopefully, Andre's living his best life, flute, gray hair, and all. So the guy plays the flute and has gray hair. So what?
Like Ian Anderson.
He has gray hair. He plays
the flute. Yes.
Been very
But he did not
successful.
play a character named Fredwin,
He did not.
which is still the most awesome character name ever.
Next to Florida, which
Yes.
we should mention.
Yes.
Rumor has it there's going to be an animated version of Good Times.
Good times. On Netflix, right?
I think so. That's what you said.
Yes.
With
Yes.
Steph Curry behind it. That part's
Yes.
starting to
And
get his
Terrence
hands-
Howard as
as Florida because he talks like Florida. He should be Florida Evans. He talks like the dog after Joe Budden's been releasing that pent up
that milk.
canine sexual tension.
and he's done milking the dog.
We've gotten way too much out of that already.
Oh my God.
Figuratively, not literally.
Yes. We only got 10 cc's. It wasn't that much.
Bah!
No, not Fred Wynn. That's 2 words. No, 1 word. His name is Fredwin.
Like Edwin with a fr.
Yeah.
Anyway, our next article comes to us from Hip Hop DX because we're going to keep on going. You've just entitled this
We
one,
need to.
Chill.
Eat 'em up, L. Chill.
Eminem, Al Bundy,
Yes.
explains why LL Cool J's Mama Said Knock You Out single is still classic 30 years later. I can't believe that
Okay.
song's 30 years old, man.
this right here, this point is perfect. It's 30 years later. This is what makes it a classic.
Right.
Not this is an instant classic. No. This album has withstood the test of time, and 30 years later,
This song has withstood the test of time.
yes, 30 years later, it is a classic. Stop saying fucking instant classic. You piss me off.
That is an oxymoron.
Yes, not a regular moron. It's a really big one.
Or it's a moron with bad acne.
Yes, or it gets the dirt out.
Eminem appeared on LL Cool J's Rock the Bells radio to celebrate the 30th anniversary of LL's Mama Said Knock You Out album. During his segment, Slim Shady effusively praised the LP's title track and detailed why the single was groundbreaking.
That's a big old word.
Mama Said Knock You Out was to me, it was such an unorthodox hit, M said. It's another way that I'm saying LL has been such an innovator. Because for a song like that to be a hit, he's so raw on that song that something like that could become a hit. It just changed the whole game. He continued, because you didn't have to have a singy pop hook or anything like that to get on the radio. And radio played the fuck out this song. And to me, it was not even an attempt. It wasn't even an attempt to make a hit. It was more like him getting his shit off his chest. But the song was just so fucking good that you couldn't front on it. And it
Did Eminem just make a Cleveland Steamer reference?
maybe. And it just became something. It was just organic. It gives you chills, man. Eminem also expressed his immense admiration for 1990's Mama Said Knock You Out album, which he called LL's 4th straight classic. He then spit a few bars from one of his favorite cuts from the LP, Eat 'em Up, L. Chill.
The Kings of the Mic tour, LL came up to the mic. You know, he did a few hits, and then he came up to the microphone. He said, "All right," he said, "Let me see where the audience is at here." And he just grabbed the mic and went, "Chill." And everybody in the audience came back with, "Eat 'em up, L." He's like, "Oh shit." He's like, "I didn't expect you guys to know that one."
Come on now. We're not rookies. So forget
Well,
Oreos, eat Cool J cookies.
Cool J cookies.
Just
Why do I
don't
know
make
what
'em
is,
pink.
John?
Why do we know what that is? What
What
is?
is?
I don't know.
What?
John is asking very poignant questions.
10 seconds behind us, yes.
So anyway, I'll keep going.
And I'll wait, and I'll answer him in the chat.
The Shady Records boss shared his thoughts on Eat 'em Up, L. Chill 2, making a point to salute legendary Juice Crew producer Marley Marl. LL's vocal tone on that and the way the beat. Shout out to Marley, by the way, M said, because the beat on this fucking song is crazy, and the way LL's rhyme schemes complement this beat and vice versa is incredible. Listen to Eminem's Rock the Bells radio appearance on the link in the show notes, and watch LL's Mama Said Knock You Out video, also by linking to this article in the show notes because we have show notes.
We do. I work very hard on show
and
notes
you
every
should-
Wednesday night.
And you should check them out. Our next article.
Because we've got more hits.
Slide, slippity slide. Comes to us from Footwear News once again, footwearnews.com.
Yes.
Adidas Yeezy slides cause an uproar after waiting room glitches. Pass dropped the latest colorways of his signature Adidas Yeezy slides, and they have the Twitter world divided, like
Wait a minute.
everything that motherfucker does.
See if I can. Kadeem Hardison just liked one of my tweets.
Look at that.
That's pretty cool.
The slides originally dropped in December 2019 in a mix of 3 colorways. Today, the brand released 3 more iterations of the slip-on shoes in neutral tones of soot, core,
And dirt.
beige. Soot, core, and beige. No greb, no dirt.
No, because it's not brown.
But it's not brown.
Nope.
The adult version of the slides includes a distinctive shark tooth sole along with a thick upper band, all constructed with an injected EVA foam.
Is it actually made from shark teeth?
I don't know.
You
Maybe
you
it's
never
made
know with these.
Maybe it's made from shark fin. Because, you know,
Maybe.
they call him Jaws.
Like
His head
scallops.
is like a shark's fin. But not like lasagna, because real G's move in silence.
So I've heard.
The pair is released on adidas.com/Yeezy as well as at select Adidas Yeezy retailers today at 10 a.m. Eastern with a price tag of $55. Now, after the drop, the pairs can be found on retail sites or resale sites like StockX from $210 to $500.
Yep. I will say, when the original Yeezys came out, the weird ones with the glowing bottoms and stuff, I scooped up a pair of those for $73, and I turned around and sold it for $542
There you go.
because I had no desire to have them whatsoever.
Nope. And on goat.com, they go anywhere from $209 all the way up to $1,260.
Is that the size
fucking
15? What? For prison
slides.
shoes. They're
Yeah.
prison shoes.
They're ugly, man. Jesus Christ, they're ugly.
Yeah, you wear them in the shower. That's it.
As the slides dropped online, the shoes caused an uproar across Twitter for a mix of reasons. A selection of users took to the social media app to share their frustration as they tried getting the pairs online only to be stuck in the Adidas website's waiting room for up to half an hour before being told that they in fact had already sold out.
It's like when somebody comes onto our show and we keep them in the green room.
That only happens to me. Certain accounts even use multiple phones and computers to attempt to get the slides, while others compared themselves to clowns and memes for their failed attempts at copying a pair.
I do understand this, though. Not for shoes, because I'm not a big, gigantic sneaker guy. I like some cool sneakers. I buy some cool sneakers, but I am not sneaker guy. In the Death Wish coffee mug world,
Yes.
before they started making 5,000 mugs for every run,
Yeah.
you used to have to sit there and go, okay, is the mug live yet? Is the mug live yet? Refresh, refresh, refresh. And there was no waiting room. It was boom.
First come, first served basis.
It was. And I remember mugs selling out. And no shit, I got to say, it was Gail, help me out here. What was the Jack, the Saratoga Coffee Traders Death Wish crossover, Pumpkin Jack. It was 250 of them. That's a guess. I would have to go look, 'cause I don't remember. But if Gail's still here, she'll tell me. There were 250 of them, and they were gone in less than a minute.
That doesn't surprise me.
That was the first mug that I ever missed on sale. I had to end up catching one on the secondary market.
Yes, you did.
But
Nice looking
Yeah.
mug, though.
it is. So I understand the refresh, F5, F5, F5. I got to get it. And then, especially if you're, all right, I'm next. And then there is no next.
New
Like when you used to have to
stale,
wait.
Old school F5.
Old school next. No,
refresh.
but it used to be the same way you used to be standing in line for tickets when you had to stand in line for tickets.
Yeah.
And you get up there and they close the window on you when you got there. Like,
Yep.
what?
Sorry, sold out. Waboom.
Yeah. So I understand.
Like, I don't want tickets for this concert. I want tickets for wrestling.
So I understand the upsetness, being pissed off at the highest of festivity because you were there, but you didn't make it.
Right.
But not over some shower shoes.
So anyway, back to the article. It says other users.
Oh yeah, we got
took to
articles.
Twitter to roast the new slide, sharing their distaste for their silhouette. One user said, "Real shoe heads know you can get these just by visiting your local county jail."
See?
While others compared the shoes to Crocs clogs and Birkenstock sandals, and one user called them grandpa loafers.
They're shower shoes. That's what they are for all my squids out there.
I like this. This lady's like, when I failed to get the Yeezy slides, but remember, I saved $55.
Cha-ching.
Explain to me why y'all teenagers and 20-year-olds want these grandpa loafers called Yeezy slides. Like, do you really think they look good? Or is it just the brand? It is just the brand, because those are ugly ass shoes. So
there's no reason to have them. Except to say you have them.
Everything he does, man, he tries to convince the world that dog food is filet mignon, and the world just keeps fucking buying it from him. I don't understand why. The best part I read today was Wisconsin will not allow him on the presidential ballot because he filed his paperwork like 16 seconds after the deadline.
Yeah, he couldn't get up into his people. Wasn't even him. His people couldn't get up into the office in time because of the elevator or something.
Yeah. John, surprised you didn't name the colors. Hefty, Glad, and Up and Up. I'm still waiting for Greb. I really am.
The derelict line.
Our next article, Just a Thought, comes to us from Hip Hop DX. Mm-hmm. Black Thought's parents were murdered. And here's how he turned the tragedy into motivation. No, I was today years old when I read this. Actually, yesterday years old, because you sent me the show.
Yeah, quit trying to hide it. You didn't read it until just now.
No, I read it yesterday, because remember?
Yes.
I texted you yesterday and said, what is this Joe Budden shit?
Yes, you said, I can't get past the Joe Budden thing.
And then read it twice.
Yes.
Not everyone is aware of the tragedies Black Thought has endured throughout his life. Beginning at a very young age, the Roots luminary had to grapple with traumatic events that would ultimately shape who he is today, including the murders of his mother and father, who both were members of the Nation of Islam. Black Thought, born Tariq Trotter in 1971, wasn't even a year old when his father was killed. Although Thought didn't go much into detail surrounding the murder, in 2017 he told the New York Times he heard his father was a, quote, kind, chivalrous, and very respectful man. At the age of 6, he remembers accidentally lighting his Philadelphia apartment on fire as he played with his plastic green army soldiers, an incident that would change the trajectory of his brother's life. I would use a lighter to melt parts off their body to make it seem like they were wounded as they fought each other, he told the Times. I've done this many times with no problem. However, on this particular occasion, the lighter got too hot. It burned my hand. I flung the lighter away from me, and it ignited the curtains. Firefighters were able to extinguish the flames, but Thought's brother Keith, who was 14 at the time, accused them of pocketing jewelry and smashing some family photos. A fight ensued, and his brother was arrested, which ignited a long string of trips to jail. But Thought soon found himself landing in trouble, too. Thought's first arrest came at 12 after he was caught tagging a basketball court in a South Philadelphia park. In high school, he started selling crack cocaine as a means to make money, but once his uncles found out, they shipped him off to Detroit for a fresh start. So, instead of sending him from Philadelphia to Bel Air, they sent him from Philadelphia to Detroit.
Yeah, yo Holmes to Detroit. No.
Yo Holmes to the D. The 313. Back home, his mother, Cassandra Trotter, had become horribly addicted to crack. Shortly after Thought returned to Philly to resume high school, he was informed she'd gone missing.
Look, I don't know if there were ever levels of crack addiction. It was all or nothing.
Yeah, because crack is fucking nasty,
it's
man.
Whack. Crack is whack.
Crack is whack, yes. Although that wasn't necessarily out of the norm, the family felt something was wrong, started calling hospitals, jails, and morgues. A woman matching Trotter's description had turned up at one of the morgues, and dental records confirmed it was indeed his mother. she'd been stabbed to death by a 22-year-old Philly man who lived just a few blocks away from her. But rather than drown in rage and sorrow, Thought was able to channel his grief into resilience. In a recent interview with Hip Hop DX, the now 48-year-old hip-hop legend explains how he used his trauma to create the powerful art that makes up the Roots' extensive catalog and his increasingly more personal solo material. And again, we've always said, Black Thought, one of the most underrated guys to ever pick up a microphone. Does not get the love he deserves as the talent he is.
No.
I feel like death, loss, tragedy, trauma in and of itself can serve as something that sort of derails one's trajectory, he tells DX's Kyle Eustace. It can serve as almost a brick wall or just a journey that's almost impossible to continue to traverse, or it can add fuel to the fire in that way. In my case, it very much has fueled me. It served as my main motivator. Like my motivation is the knowledge and the acknowledgement of the entire story that sort of becomes me. All of the dimensions, all of the nuances, and all of the experiences, the good, the bad, and the ugly, from which I'm able to draw to tell these stories, essentially go on to mean so much and so many different things to so many different people. I feel like that's a gift, and it's something to be appreciated and not taken for granted, so that's what I choose to do. I feel like so many who have come before me have sacrificed and dealt with their own trauma, loss, and tragedy in order to make way for me to occupy this... Nice. In order for me to make way, for me to occupy the space that I'm able to occupy now. So it boils down to me not wanting to let them down. I don't want to do my ancestors, my forefathers, and those who came before me, even in this industry, related or not related, I don't want to do them a disservice. Understandably, some people would rather, would kind of fall apart if they had to face the murders of their parents. I know I would be fucking done, so...
Mm-hmm.
Most appropriately rated.
We're going to have to do that.
We should do that. Or like Bruce Wayne, they turn into Batman. Thought fell into the latter category. Although it's something he obviously lives with every day, he doesn't let it dictate his life.
Oh, he is kind of like Batman, though.
It's something I definitely carry with me, and yet not very many people know how hard it was for me or whatever, he explains. I guess I've chosen not to wear it on my sleeve, so to speak. You often hear people say their history doesn't define them, right? I've quite honestly chosen to live as more of a vision of the possibilities of the future than as one of a memory of the past. But in this new material in recent years, it's not like I've run out of things to say, but I feel like I've been a voice for the voiceless and sort of spoken for the people and for Philadelphia, and just from that perspective for quite some time. There are people who've been supporting me throughout my career who still talk as though they didn't know me. And some folks have made mention of, I feel like for as much as I know the Roots' extensive catalog, I still feel like I don't know you as a person. On the song Good Morning from his forthcoming solo project Streams of Thought Volume 3, Cain and Abel, which I'm sure is going to be a record of the week.
Yeah, you can almost guarantee that, yeah.
He raps, I'm from the home of the ghosts, water plugs and wokeness, water bugs and roaches, drugs and overdoses. A nod to his tumultuous upbringing and a clear indication Thought is looking more inward these days.
My favorite part about that is the separation between water bugs and roaches, because they are two separate creatures.
Yes, they are.
In the same family, Alfredo.
It's been a conscious decision and ongoing effort for me to be more vulnerable and open up more and just be more honest and candid about myself and about my journey, he says. But that being said, I don't want to force it. So it has come out in an organic way based on the music or whatever the project is that I'm working on. But in recent years, I've been able to be just far more open because of it. The album title itself has to partially do with death and mortality. The Cain and Abel part of the title is a reference to the biblical story, of course, of Cain and Abel, the first two sons of Adam and Eve. As the tale goes, Cain eventually murdered Abel, and Yahweh punished Cain by condemning him to a life of wandering. But producer Sean C. and Thought's innate ability to fire off stacked bars also played into the name, because Cain is spelled differently, too.
Yes.
The producer, Sean C., his last name is Cain, spelled like candy cane, he explains. He's quite literally Sean Cain. And me being one of the most able MCs, it's a play on words as a nod to my ability and to him actually being Cain. And then also, too, just a sign of the time, so to speak, and the original sin, I guess. It spoke to all those different things, so it made perfect sense to subtitle the album. Streams of Thought Volume 3 was originally expected to arrive on July 31st, but has been pushed back probably because of the COVID thing.
Yes.
In the meantime, check back with Hip Hop DX and Mr. Throwback Thursday for part 2 of the interview, where Thought discusses one of the Roots' biggest hip hop influences, the late Malik B, Anxiety, and more. So we will bring you part 2 of that when we get it next week.
We will.
Love
hard to
Black
believe
Thought.
it.
Yeah.
Our final article, and we talked about it last week.
And we're going to actually show it. Now, if you went back and looked it up 8 years ago, it was on Rap Genius, which, as you all know, that's what we use for our lyrics. But it was there on Genius, him saying, no, this is what it is. How did you not know what it was? Why would I say that?
Anyway, this comes to us from Hip Hop DX.
Yes.
You have entitled it Down With Who?
Indeed.
Audio 2's classic top billing lyrics accurately annotated over 30 years after its release.
And we talked about this last week, but we really didn't get into it.
Audio 2's 1987 single Top Billin' is a hip-hop classic that's been referenced and sampled by the likes of Hawaiian Sophie, Pass, 50 Cent, a guy named Clifford Smith who goes by the name of...
H-E-H-O-D, man.
and countless others, but for decades, many fans have been getting the lyrics wrong. As it turns out, Audio 2's Milk D never said, "Suckers, that's down with me," on the track's opening verse as widely assumed. What he actually said was, "Suckers, that's down with me. They're one of us."
Now I'm just going to run this. Hold on. Let me throw this up on the screen because people don't believe it until they see it. And watch for Beezus the DJ in this video. Not this video, but in the video when Skill starts talking.
Check it out. MCMI, people call me Milk. When I'm
What up, DJ J Slide?
I feel no guilt. Gizmo's cutting up for the suckers. That's
Oh, they're gonna play the actual one now.
The one of us, that's how I feel.
All right.
To be
You go ahead. I'm going to find the right one.
Okay. So anyway, the confusion comes from the structure of Milk D's bars, which split the word neither over 2 lines.
Yes.
Due to the rhyming trick and knee sounding so much like me, the misconception has existed for over 30 years. Industry veteran Skills, best known for his year-end wrap-ups, addressed the misquoted song in a social media clip posted on Monday, September 7th.
Okay, now we can throw to it. Hold on.
CMI, people call me Milk. When I'm busting up a party, I feel no guilt. Gizmo's cutting up for the suckers. That's
Did I just play this? There.
Stop right there. I'm gonna run that back for you.
MCMI.
Jay Slide, watch this video again. You're gonna see Beezus as one of his friends and his reaction.
Suckers, that's
Down with me. I know you just said what I said. So apparently, for 33 years, we've all been saying this completely wrong. I played this song for all of my friends. This was the look on their face when they found out what he was really saying.
check it out. MCMI, people call me Milk. When I'm busting up a party, I feel no guilt. Gizmo's cutting up for
There he is.
There he is.
me. Suckers, that's down with me. The one of us, that's how I feel.
According to Milk D, he never said down with me. The correct lyric is Gizmo's cutting up for thee. Suckers, that's down with me. The one of us, that's how I feel. It's neither. He took the next bar and continued the word. So it's me, the one of us, that's how I feel. To be down, you must appeal. I was like, why would he say he was down with suckers in the first place? So for 33 years, we all been saying this shit wrong. But it is one person that actually said it right and always knew it from jump. And that person was...
Suckers, that's down with me.
Surprise, surprise, right?
Of course, Thought knew it, man. Thought knows everything. He just doesn't know how to shave because that beard is just crazy. So anyway, it said the veteran MC then shared the stunned reactions of Ninth Wonder, Fonte, rapper Big Pooh, Don Cannon, DJ Green Lantern, Charlemagne the God, comedian Affion Crockett, and more, but confirmed one person, Black Thought, always knew the correct lyrics. So, 33 years, man.
Yeah.
And the minute he explained it, it made perfect sense. It's like, well, yeah, why would he say suckers were down with him?
Yep. Yeah. If you go over to genius.com and you pull up top billing and you go over to the right-hand side, you will see the video of Milk explaining just like this. He's like, why would I say suckers were down with me? And he explains the lyric. But so all these people saying, yeah, I always knew that, aside from Black Thought, because, you know, yeah, Thought could have told us. Aside from Thought, all these people coming out now saying, oh, I knew that.
No, you
okay,
didn't.
maybe you saw a video 8 years ago of Milk saying that, but you didn't know it 33 years ago like the rest of us.
Because at first I thought he said down with me, the one of us. You
right.
know.
But then what sense does that make?
It doesn't make
now
any sense.
That we look
in
at
context of the lyrics, it makes no sense. But 33 years ago, we weren't that smart.
And nobody, I don't care who you're talking to, nobody thought Milk had those kind of lyrical abilities to do a verse like that.
And everybody in the beginning thinks he says MCMI, like the two letters, but it's MCMI.
Yep. Yeah, there's a lot of people that say MCMI, like MI for milk. No, it's MCMI. People call me Milk.
Mm-hmm.
I want to get Milk on the show.
I'd love to get Milk on the show.
I'm Facebook friends with him, but he's not on Facebook, so it's tough. I gotta track him.
Yeah. So that is Hip Hop Headlines for episode 346.
It is.
So, see, Sly didn't know that either.
Each one teach one, man. That's what we're here for.
That's what we do. So, yep, we try to educate and inform on this show.
We do.
And if we make ourselves look stupid in the middle, then that's just more entertaining for everybody else.
Red Rocket.
Yuck. So we're going to take our first break of the evening. When we come back, if all goes according to plan, we should have a very special presentation.
Yes.
The only way to find out is if you come back too. Mr. Throwback Thursday, episode 346. Coming right back at you.
All right, so we're going to kill some time here. Hopefully only like 5 minutes. But we're waiting on Rocky Bucano to see if he shows up.
MCMI. People call me.
Hopefully he's not like Brother Ernie who comes in and goes, you thought I was going to be late, huh? No, I don't think he's going to be late, but I know. I told him 8 o'clock, so.
Brother Ernie was punctual.
Like a motherfucker. Let's see what we got here. We take questions so we don't sit here and look dumb more than normal. What questions do you guys have? Does anybody have questions for Rocky Bucano? Because, you know, when we run out, I love throwing it to the posse.
First of all, I hope everybody knows who Rocky Bucano is.
Well, they'll find out if they don't know. Why we're here. If I go to the intros and fillers category. Yes, Brother Ernie was an awesome interview, John. He was one of my favorites. And to come on the show, people who were not patrons or weren't there live didn't get to hear the extended edition where Brother Ernie thanked us. He said, you know, there's 7 billion people in the world. He said, and you guys chose to talk to me. You know, like we wouldn't want to talk to him.
Because you've been there. You've done that.
Damn straight, Jay Slide. You're going to learn today.
Uh-huh.
Let's see. What do we got here? I got a whole thing that says Amen. Folder from September of last year.
Ah.
When Brother Amen was on the show. What am I looking for? Oh, intros and fillers. That was right, because I wanted the special presentation music.
Yes, you do.
Do I have the special presentation music? Oh, there it is. It's under the CBS special presentation.
The CBS.
Test this out. Does this sound good? Yep, that works. Okay. Nah. Oh, I'm gonna play this for Jay Slag because I know he hasn't seen it yet. Well, I don't think he's seen it yet. We're gonna play this real quick. Oh, it's gonna play without audio, of course. Why wouldn't it play with audio? Back it up. Back it up. Since we may not be able to play this tonight.
Bag it up, bag it up, bag it up.
Try again.
1 2 1 2. What's good, yo? This is Ghostface straight from Staten Island, New York. And right about now, it's time for Woo News with Jamie and Bill. I know what it is. Get it correct. Mr. Throwback Thursdays, Jamie and Bill. You know what I mean? On Woo News. That's what's going down right now. Y'all check this out. Exclusive.
Okay, we're not actually getting into Blue News, but I want to play that for Jay Slag because he's not normally here and gets to see stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good question, John. Hold that one, and we will ask him. Because I am very excited about that.
I had actually forgotten about that.
For everybody else who can't
great
see.
Question, John.
I think that's going to be awesome. I think there's going to be a whole lot more power moves and gymnastics and stuff, which is a lot of what breaking has become these days.
Mm-hmm.
More than the basics that we've been seeing when we showed you guys like Beat Street and breaking, where it was more wave and popping and locking and stuff like that. No, you can't leave that early. Yes, I know, Central. Otherwise, you would have been gone already. And everybody else is wondering, what the fuck is he talking about? Because they can't see the comment section. But
Right.
Pull up my questions because I got to have questions.
To the posse?
No, for Rocky.
Oh.
Now, a lot of it is off the cuff, but I have some sort of structure to keep me in line of where the hell we are in the show. It's like when I tell you I don't pull up the news, I have the tabs up just so I can see where we are, but I don't look at the news articles. Solo and team competitions. Ooh. Yeah, I'm very excited to see this. I usually only watch the Olympics for curling.
I love curling in the Olympics, man.
I do too. Yes, we do care, Richie. It's just a matter of how much. Bill cares more than I do. Only time I care is when I get a notification on my phone that says, "Hey, Darius Slayton got a touchdown."
Well, I care because I got Saquon Barkley, so
I have Darius Slayton, so I am going to lose to Becca this week, but
you know what? I got to look and see how I'm at. I know I was behind Ron E.J.
That's my current setup there. And Darius Slayton.
That kid's going to be good, man.
I know.
Let's see what Thuggish Rugsish is up to. I'm like 40 points down. Ronnie's done. So
I'm crushing in the Kings of Sport League this week.
yeah, I got to look at that too. Let's see matchups.
I had it pulled up yesterday so I could watch the whole thing as it happened.
Yeah, I'm 40 points down right now.
That's a decent chunk. How many people you got playing?
2.
Hold on. Bring in. We don't want to leave our special guest in the green room. How you doing, Rocky?
I'm good.
We're sitting there
Never leave
bullshitting.
him in the
I'm like,
green room.
oh, we can't leave him in the green room.
Yeah, we heard the boop, and we're like, okay, fantasy football takes a step back. We have our own fantasy football league for the show, and you'll appreciate this. All of the team names have to have hip hop and football as part of their team name. So we've had some great team names in the past.
Okay.
Jamie had the best one of all time when he had Belichick yourself before you Rex yourself. Which was the greatest team name ever. See, he didn't win the league that year.
I did not, but I won the name.
And we tell him about the award that I won last year for finishing last.
Did you ever watch the TV show The League by any chance?
No.
Okay.
Have not.
At the end of the season, they had a trophy for the winner, and then they had a trophy for the loser, and it was called the Sacco. But ours is called the Felicia because we have a player in our league who never changes her lineup. So, and her name is Felicia. So both of our trophies have Ice Cube on them. One where he's smiling, and one where he's disgruntled. So Bill has the Felicia trophy, and it's just Ice Cube staring down at him.
That's funny. That's hilarious.
Staring very ice cubingly. And I thought I had a good team name last year. I picked Lamar Jackson as my football, and I changed it to Lamari Miss Jackson.
And you didn't win either.
No. So I think that's a secret. I think you have to have a sucky name in order to win the league. Yes, Hugo, that's named at you. We got a guy who's won 2 years in a row.
Yes. All right.
So that's our ridiculousness.
We're on a break right now, so the people can see us, but the final edited version, all this will be gone. Don't worry.
Okay, so you got to take this and edit it later?
Yeah, we'll take the video stays as is. We leave it up live, and then we leave it live on YouTube because we're on Facebook, YouTube, and Periscope right now.
Oh, okay.
And the video, we just leave it as it is. When it comes out in the audio version on Thursday, everything will be cut, cleaned up, edited to sound fairly professional.
I like it. I like it.
The best I can give you is fairly, because
Yeah.
So you said you guys are on a commercial break?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So during the normal episode, we'll go through and we do a segment called Hip Hop Headlines, which is all the current news that we're talking about. And then we'll go to a break. And during the break, we will play a drop from somebody and then come in with our next segment, which is Woo News, which is just news about Wu-Tang Clan. And then after that, we get into a one and done, a record of the week. And then we go to a break again. And then we come back with Bill Reed's lyrics, which is where we find some of the most, I'll say disgusting. Disgusting is fair. Disgusting lyrics that were out there in the 80s and 90s. And I make Bill read them kind of like Dr. Seuss.
If you've ever remembered Deep Thoughts by Jack Handy, it's kind of that thing because we have the soft piano music in the background. And then I come out with things like Acknell's Put It in Your Mouth and just ridiculousness like that.
So who found who? Did Adam find you guys, or you guys got that?
We did last year. We had these coffee mugs made.
Oh right. He told me that, and that you guys
and we raffled them off, the ones that were different, one of a kinds. And then the money we got from that, we donated to UHHM, and he got back to me saying thanks for the donation. And then we got talking, and he found out what we did, and blah blah blah. And ta-da! Here we are.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So when was yours? When was this show created? How long ago?
January 2014.
Oh, you guys have been doing it for a while.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we've known each other for 34 years, but we've been doing this for 6.5.
For 6, yeah. 346 consecutive weeks, sans one. I think we missed 1 week because Jamie was in the hospital.
On recording night. I actually got out of the hospital on recording night, but I didn't have the energy to do it.
Right. Wow.
But you guys that we haven't missed.
Almost have a perfect record.
Almost. Yeah, most people weren't listening to us back when that happened, so they don't know we've missed a week.
Now we remind them every now and then, but
yeah. But yeah. So we're going to come in. I should probably pull up a drop. That was my plan. I was going to play a drop.
You were going to
and then we're going to come in with our special presentation music.
And then we'll go from there.
Yeah, I don't know. You have any kind of preference? Let's see. With music. Oh, well, we'll do Uncle Ralph. How about that?
Now, see, I just scored because I have Juju Smith-Schuster.
Who
just
did he score?
Scored. Yeah.
Oh no! So it's a tie game now.
Yep, pending the extra point. But that's 6 more points for me. Yes.
All right. Who do we want? I want to play somebody good because we have guests. About. I don't know where my Uncle Ralph one went.
We just played Uncle Ralph a couple weeks ago.
I know. All right, we'll do Jeff. All right.
Okay.
Here, let me open
I like
this up.
Jeff.
Some DJs are even. But here's a little something about my DJ. The magnificent Jazzy Jeff. So bust his beat.
Hey, this is DJ Jazzy Jeff, and you are checking out my homeboys Jamie and Bill on Mr. Throwback Thursday.
Yo, Jazzy!
That way I don't have to go back and edit that crap in later. All right, should I hit my special presentation?
Yes.
All right. You get the specialness here. Here we go.
Why 5-0?
Welcome back, everybody, to Mr. Throwback Thursday, episode 346. It is indeed That Music Tells You. It is time for a special presentation. And no, it is not a Charlie Brown Thanksgiving or anything like that. We have with us tonight the executive director of the Universal Hip Hop Museum, Mr. Rocky Bucano, joining us. Welcome to Mr. Throwback Thursday.
Hey, what's happening, guys? Glad to be here.
Yeah. Thanks for coming on. You know, a lot of people don't know who we are, and when we hear our name, like, who's that? Why don't I want to be on there? But you know, we try to have some fun. we try to keep things from a fan perspective and not from a newscaster perspective. So
and we've been told afterward that we're the most fun interview people have had because it's not like talking to a stuffy journalist or anything. Like Fredro thought we were great.
yeah, and Yo-Yo had a good time. Yeah, but so you are the head motherfucker in charge, for lack of a better term.
The HMFIC, nice.
Of the Universal Hip Hop Museum. How does Cool DJ Rock grow up to become the head of the UHHM?
Wow. So it's a long story, but I'll try to shorten it.
We've got all the time in the world for you.
No. I could get long-winded. Very boring, very fast. I was just in the right place at the right time. You know, I've been involved in music all my life since a teenager. I was working for the New York Gauchos basketball program, and as their executive director. They're like one of the longest running AAU youth basketball organizations in the country, the most successful, with over 40 former alumni that's either in the NBA or the WNBA.
Damn.
So I got approached to, by some real estate developers to see if the Gauchos wanted to expand our program to another location. And that location was the Kingsbridge Armory. And long story short, this idea to move the Gauchos to the Kingsbridge Armory kind of faltered because those developers that approached me, they didn't have the funding to basically support their vision. So the city of New York and some local elected officials were very excited about the Gauchos possibly expanding our program to the Kingsbridge Armory and just wanted to team me up with another developer. His name was Young Woo. He was one of the finalists for that city-owned project, in the bidding process. And Young Woo basically pitched the idea of adding a music component to his real estate proposal and asked me if I had an idea. And I told him, why would we, why wouldn't you, why would you want to add a music component? And he told me we need to expand, the project's opportunity with local residents. And I said, look, how about a hip hop museum?
Mm-hmm.
And other people had attempted to get a hip hop museum off the ground before this idea. And he thought it was a great idea. So I brought together a few of my friends, Africa Bambaataa, Grandmaster Melly Mel, Grand Wizard Theodore, and I said, look, I have a real estate developer that's willing to give us a space for a hip hop museum, and I want you guys to come meet him. So we all went down to his office down in Chelsea and sat down with him, and he said, look, I'll help you guys get a hip hop museum off the ground, but I need you guys to advocate for my project. And that's what we did. We advocated, for his project, which was the open market, like not a flea market per se, but an open market kind of concept. And it would include the Gauchos basketball program, a space for the Universal. It wasn't even called the Universal Hip Hop Museum at that time. It was just a museum for hip hop. And we ended up losing because the city of New York thought it might be better served by making the Kingsbridge Armory a place for ice skating. So Mark Messier and Sarah Hughes were the other, developers competing with Young Woo. And their vision was to convert the Kingsbridge Armory into an ice skating palace in the West Bronx of all places. So, the city thought it was a good idea for them to award the building to Mark Messier and Sarah Hughes and their development team, and we ended up losing. But, they say that timing is everything.
True.
And although, we did not prevail with that project, it was the feedback and the community support at that early stage was just so strong that I told myself, you know what, I better stick with this idea of trying to get this museum off the ground. So I stood with it. I give this analogy all the time. It was like a locomotive back in the 1800s, that needed the coal to accelerate. And it was like pulling teeth to try to get people involved in this project. I was like, really? Man, you would think
this a hard thing.
You would think that everybody would want to be around an opportunity for a hip hop, and that wasn't the case. Maybe it was my bad breath. I don't know what it was. But, it was like pulling teeth to try to get people on board.
That's crazy.
So I think people looked at it as, all right, another hip hop museum. You had two before you. Why is your
where are they?
Yeah. Why is your attempt going to be any different? And we have some differences within the hip hop community. Some people think that they should be the so-called gatekeeper of hip hop culture.
Yeah, there's a lot of that out there. Yeah.
And because Rocky Bucano came up with this concept to push the, a museum for hip hop forward, why is he the one that's being able to bring this project to life? It should be me.
Yeah. Then why didn't you? That's the question right back at you,
So basically that's what I tell everybody. It's like, if they could have did it, they would have did it.
Yeah.
There was nothing stopping anyone from going to the elected officials, speaking up, trying to get people to donate money, creating the platform. That, they could have all jumped in and pulled their resources together if they really believed that they had the power to do it.
And now they're just, sour grapes make the best wine.
Yeah.
Well, listen, I tell everybody, look, I'm not building a museum for Rocky Bucano because it's, nobody would come. I'm building this museum to really celebrate and preserve the entire history of hip hop so that the entire world has a place where they can come see it, share it, learn from it, experience it, pass it on to future generations so that they see what this amazing culture, where it came from and how it evolved and has become the most popular art form in the entire world. So, it's not as much of a struggle anymore because people see that we've raised almost $30 million to this day. It's people like you and others that, believe in this project and want to see it get to the finish line. And I'm just so pleased that I got a great team behind me, people like Adam Silverstein and Ed Young and Senyan Kelly out on the West Coast and Martha Diaz and the idea that started with just me and maybe 4 other people now has a 0 behind that 4. So we have over, we have now over 40 volunteers. It's a 100% volunteer organization. No one gets paid yet.
Yeah.
No.
Someday maybe, but right now, no.
Yes, someday in the not too distant future, we all hope. But right now, it's it's the city of New York and the state, and some small donors and private donors putting the money up to get the building started, construction started, which is supposed to start this fall. It was supposed to start in July, but the city of New York took all construction projects that has an affordable housing component to it, because that part of the project is financed by the city, and they pushed it back because COVID-19 and city and state finances are in total disarray right now.
They're kind of tied up, yeah,
because there's more important things to do right now with city funding is not
then put up another building.
Not fire teachers, not fire any fire workers and essential workers that are risking their lives for COVID-19. So we could wait,
You're not going anywhere.
We're not going anywhere.
I was going to say at this point, you know what? It's been on the back burner for a while. It's not going to burn. It's not going to scorch. So just let it sit back there and simmer.
Yep.
And then we're ready for some hip hop gumbo once this COVID-19 is done.
Yeah, listen, I tell everybody, look, we're in a beautiful position because, KRS-One told me this maybe a couple of weeks ago. We had tried to get him involved early on. He actually wrote this manifesto, which is 40-page long, which he wrote specifically for the Universal Hip Hop Museum on why a cultural institution to preserve hip hop is so important. So he wrote this manifesto, and we were trying to get him involved at another location called the Old Bronx County Courthouse. And he had toured the building, and we brought the Sugar Hill Gang there and Africa Bambaataa and all these legends of hip hop to the Old Bronx County Courthouse. And we couldn't get the owner of that building to understand that a museum in his building would enhance the value. He just wanted a tenant that would pay rent.
Right.
He could care less about the culture.
Yeah.
So we moved away from that swiftly and teamed up with our current developers. But KRS reminded me, he said, Rocky, had we stuck with the courthouse and had the museum invest a lot of money and had it built, we'd probably be upside down right now because of COVID-19, like all these other things.
Yeah.
So, knock on wood, thank God up there, has a plan for this project, always has. And we're in a good position. We have Microsoft as one of our technology partners. MIT is our educational partner, the MIT Center for Advanced Virtuality. And we're building a museum from scratch. We have the best architectural team, the Smith Group, and the best exhibit design team, Ralph Applebaum Associates, who worked on the African American Museum at the Smithsonian down in Washington, D.C. They worked on a lot of presidential libraries, including the Obama Presidential Library. So we really do have the best of the best putting their efforts behind trying to make a world-class museum that represents the entire history of hip-hop, from the early days, the first Cool Herc party, to where we are today. And, I'm just happy that, I had the ability to stick with it for the past 9 years. There were many times when I could have given up and threw in the white flag and said, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
But, something said, don't let this project down. Despite the fire and the heat and the hate that will be coming your way, don't give up on it. So here it is. We're like I said, $30 million. thanking the elected officials who, took their time and paid attention to the work that was being done and saw the progress that we were making, and to convince them that this is a worthy project for the city and the state to invest in, to make what came out of New York City. This is one of New York City's greatest cultural exports is hip hop.
Yeah.
Right. So, kudos to them. Now we just need to get the rest of the world behind the project, get all the big artists to kick in that coin.
Yes. It's one thing to say you're associated. It's another thing to help out.
Correct. to bring this project to the finish line.
It's funny you say that, because there's been talk about people saying that, like, the classic artists, and I'm going to throw Kool Herc out there because he always seems to be the one that's mentioned, deserve some sort of reparations. And I can't think of any better way for reparations to be paid than to honor somebody like Kool Herc by making a donation to make this happen, so people can learn about the origin of hip hop and about where it came from and about where it's going.
Instead of being some little corner in Ohio in, the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Well, listen, I believe that we're building eternal legacies by having an institution like the Universal Hip Hop Museum, where the stories of Kool Herc, Grandmaster Flash, and other people will live on for way beyond my lifetime and way beyond theirs, and the people who come after us. So that's what museums do. They give life, they give immortality to our icons. The people who created history for us. So that's what we're doing. I see we have a question here.
Yes, question from the posse.
So the question is there a movement moving forward that, while preserving the artistry of hip hop and its movement socially, is also encouraging Black new social movement, which might stir social and political movements? So the question that I like to, how I like to respond to that is that hip hop has always given voice to movements, whether it's Stop the Violence or today's Black Lives Matter movement. Hip hop has always been at the forefront of these movements.
True.
And it will continue to be at the forefront with the Universal Hip Hop Museum, because our mission is not just to preserve and celebrate the history and, the people that created the history, but it's also to uplift and empower community. And in order to do that, we have to provide educational programs. We have to speak truth to power when we see that there's something not being done that we believe is disenfranchising our community. So that's what the Universal Hip Hop Museum stands for.
Excellent. Now, the question popped up there. I was going to say, we all know that hip hop has the 5 elements. Is the museum going to be including things like breaking and street art and the clothing and stuff? And then John Henderson, our posse member, wants your opinion on breaking being in the Olympics in Paris in 2024, because there's talk about having breakdance as an Olympic event.
I think that's a fabulous step forward for hip hop and for the art of b-boying.
Because it is a worldwide thing. It's not just a New York or a United States thing.
So we have this amazing program that's coming up on the 21st called Hip Hop for Peace. It's September 21st. It's a collaboration between the Universal Hip Hop Museum and the United Nations, which is celebrating the 75th anniversary of International Day of Peace. And peace is where hip hop started from. It started out of a gang culture, and the gangs coming together in New York City and basically saying, look, there's a better way than fighting and killing each other. We are people that want to support each other. Let's find a better way to do that. And from that, eventually, Africa Bambaataa, was able to form the Zulu Nation, which created this culture that represents, there you go, representing the 5 elements of hip hop. So, the Universal Hip Hop Museum would not be a museum if it didn't represent every element of hip hop. So, to answer your question, we believe truly in making sure that every element is honored and celebrated within the programming and within the exhibits that's going to be on display at the Universal Hip Hop Museum.
So I read that you wanted to be the next Frankie Crocker.
I did.
But you ended up in TV instead of radio.
Man, you guys do your research. I love that. So, growing up in New York City in the 70s, Frankie Crocker was everything. He was like God. And I started as a teenage DJ, but I admired him so much. I was like, man, I would love to get on the radio and just become like him one day and become a radio DJ.
Yeah.
And I went to a broadcast school. I went to, University of Buffalo, stayed there for half a semester. Then I went to City College and stayed there for another half a semester. And then I basically heard that you needed a FCC first class license in order to get on radio. So I got my FCC first class license, applied to WBLS and all the other radio stations in the New York City area, and got nothing. They're like, probably looked at my resume and just did one of these over the shoulder kind of thing.
He's done nothing.
Into the trash can. So I went back to the school where I got my license from, and I told the director, I'm like, I think I made a bad choice. I can't get any job on radio with this license that I just got from school. And the phone rang, and it was a television station in Beaumont, Texas, that had just hired a student, and that student from the school was taking another position at another television station. And they said, look, we want somebody else from your school because this guy did such a marvelous job. And the director's looking at, I got the perfect guy for you. He's looking at me, and I'm like, what is he talking? He hangs up the phone, and he says, do you know where Beaumont, Texas is? I'm like, what the hell is Beaumont, Texas?
It's to the left. I don't know.
Yeah. He's like, well, that's where you're going.
You better like barbecue, like Western barbecue.
So
you're gonna be a lot of steaks.
Yep. So I ended up as an 18-year-old, a newly minted on-air television engineer at a little ABC affiliate television in the armpit of the nation, Beaumont.
Nice.
I'm sorry, people in Beaumont and Port Arthur, Texas, if I'm offending you,
but it was then. Maybe not now.
Maybe not now. But the petrochemical smells there in the morning time. Oh my God! Talk about toxic waste. That's the home of toxic waste down there.
Yeah, but you know what? ABC brought us What's Happening all those years ago, which showed us life of young black teenagers and what they had to deal with. One single parent home. So I thought What's Happening was ahead of its time. Plus, you got Freddie rerun Stubbs.
Yes.
The dancer. So you had the hip hop element in there.
Yeah.
Pop locking. Yes.
Yeah.
That was a short-lived time down in Texas. I went from Beaumont, Texas to Houston, and I worked at another television station in Houston and started to get back into DJing while I was in Houston. And this is when hip hop just started to explode. First, I heard the Sugar Hill Gang Rappers Delight, and I was like, holy shit, they finally put rap on records. Look at that.
Mm-hmm.
And then my boy, Curtis Blow, comes down to Texas on tour to promote Christmas rapping. And he comes to a club, and I said, man, I got to go check these. So him and Russell Simmons, they look at me and they're like, Rocky, what the hell are you doing down here in Beaumont, Texas? And I'm like, I'm working in television. And they were performing at this Little Dive, this club that had terrible sound system. And Russell's pushing the panic button. He's like, "Oh my God, the sound in here is terrible. We can't perform with this shit." He said, "Rocky, can you help us get this sound right?" So I asked the club owner. I said, "You want me to take a look at your sound system, see if there's anything
I can help you
salvage this disaster?" And it was pretty much a close and play stereo that Kurt had to perform on. The guy that would be the future king of rap.
Yeah.
His first performance was at this dive in Beaumont, Texas.
And you had to make chicken salad out of chicken shit.
And fortunately, I was there to put a little bit of
to save it. You can say it now. I saved Curtis Blow's career.
You can tell him that when you're in his fantasy football league. Jamie plays fantasy football with Curtis.
Oh, he
Blow.
does. Yeah. Well, Curtis is one of my best friends. He was he's the former chairman of the museum.
Yes.
Now he's the chairman of the Humanity Coalition. He's got a new program. He's a minister now.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, so he spends most of his time preaching and serving the Word of God.
And we just hope he's healthy too. I know he was fighting some health issues.
Yeah, he's still fighting some health issues, but I pray for him every day and just pull for him.
Man.
And he's a great guy, really is.
So with the museum, I've been to the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame on a couple of occasions. Working in banking before I got into this, I was out in Cleveland for a week and had nothing to do because Cleveland, they call it the Mistake by the Lake.
Hey, it rocks, I've heard.
And that is not just a misnomer. There's really nothing to do out in Cleveland, Ohio. But I will say the exhibits that they have, and when I was there, they had a whole section that was dedicated to John Lennon for like a month, and they had videos on loops and stuff. Is that something that we could possibly see from UHHM? Maybe a featured exhibit with videos and stuff, kind of.
Well, so, I don't want to give away the inside view yet. But
is it something that's been discussed? Let's put it that way.
Well, there will be permanent installations similar to what you just mentioned, but we're really building a state-of-the-art smart museum.
Oh, I can't wait.
Yeah, between Microsoft and MIT.
Yeah, so
I'm a 1 hour train ride away, so I cannot wait for this.
Yeah, so we want technology to be used at its highest form to bring to life the amazing stories, the people, the places, the event. So when people come into this, we'll call it Disneyland.
Yeah.
Experience.
It's really what it's going to be.
They're going to be blown away because we want people not to come in feeling like they're walking into a traditional kind of museum experience. We spent a lot of time thinking about, what is today's technology going to be like when the museum opens,
right?
And how does that technology leverage to bring these stories to life? So I'll give you one example. So instead of having a human docent, we'll have an AI docent that will, you'll speak into the air. Lead me to the LL Cool J experience. And the docent will tell you exactly where to go and, where it's located, what artifacts are in the building, and, and then we'll ask you questions, about, is LL Cool J your favorite artist? And you may say, no, I'm just curious to see that.
Mm-hmm.
But, Tupac is really my favorite artist. So now the artificial intelligence is kind of like developing this,
your profile.
A profile.
Yeah.
About who you are, your age, where you come from, what part of the world you live in. So that as you walk through the museum, doesn't give you everything that you should get, but it kind of like customizes your experience so that you get what you expect to get, but you also get this new experience that you wouldn't have thought about. But because we know you're interested in these other things, quite possibly you should be interested in these other things as well.
It's
Right,
the
so-
Netflix thing. If
Yeah.
you enjoyed this, you'll enjoy this.
Yeah, it's not going to take me to the Nicki Minaj section because it knows I only like 80s and 90s.
Correct. But it's going to be a unique digital experience blended with some historical artifacts, but it's really going to be more immersive using technology than walking into something that's just looping videos
Right.
about a specific person. Because I think that's pretty corny. And
Yeah.
I think
I can see, okay, I want to put this person on display today.
Correct.
Okay, but one person shouldn't be more important than another person if they're all within the museum.
I want people to feel like they missed something. They could spend hours inside the museum, but after they leave, they just got so much stuff that they feel like, wow, did I see everything? Did I miss something?
Yeah.
I'm going to have to come back and try again.
That's the thing. And once people start talking to their friends who have also been there, and somebody's going to say, oh, and did you see this? And there's, what? That was there? And that'll bring them back.
That was there. I'll bring you and I'll show you, because now you're getting two. You're getting a repeat customer. You're getting a new customer or two repeat customers. I mean, it's.
Yep. Yeah. I'm a technology geek, and I really want to create something that that other museums will envy in terms of how we have incorporated technology. Technology won't be the reason why people come to the museum, by no means.
Right.
And it's not supposed to. But
it'll be the reason they come back.
It'll be the reason that they come back for sure. Because, when they see what we have in store for them, it's going to be pretty amazing. We opened up an exhibit back in December.
Revolution?
Yep, the Revolution of Hip Hop, which, it's a sneak preview of the Future Museum, but not really, because, we did have a lot of artifacts. We had a lot of the original flyers, and we had those looping videos.
Because back then they didn't have anything else.
Well, no, it's you gotta have something that everybody can come see. So you can't expand it too much.
Correct.
Something tangible that people can say,
Yeah.
okay, so this kind of gives me an idea of what this is.
Correct. So, what was amazing about the Revolution of Hip Hop before we closed it in March, and now we're preparing to reopen on October 8th, was that people from all around the world found out about this exhibit and made it a point to visit.
Yeah.
So we had 10,000 visitors within a span of 90 days walk through this exhibit that's only about 2,500 square feet. And at that time, here, this is a very interesting story. So we opened in December. We closed March 15th when the COVID-19 started to really rear its head here in New York City.
Mm-hmm.
But in February, it had already started in China and other parts of the world.
Right.
It wasn't really, being, impacted here in the States quite yet. But we were really in the middle of everything, because we had people from Italy, Spain, all the hot spots were coming through this exhibit.
To see the exhibit, yeah.
And thank God, none of my interns, none of the staff members that work at the exhibit caught the virus. We all made it safe and sound.
That's good.
And
that's against odds. I mean, it's.
Oh my God! I mean, we had no idea we were in the middle of a firestorm. Thanks to our president, Donald J. Trump.
Yeah. Never ever on this show has there been a thanks to that guy. But yes, I based on context. Yes.
Not a sincere one anyway.
No. Thanks to him. Yes. So, hey, you started Strong City Records.
Mm-hmm.
Now, one of my favorite records on Strong City happens to be on Strong City. It's Don Barron's Young, Gifted, and Black. And I don't know if I can show it because of my green screen.
Yep. I remember that. The Don Barron.
We love that record, by the way.
Yes.
We listened to that record. We had that on cassette. We blew that cassette apart in my car when we were growing up.
We went from the Masters of Ceremony and then into that one, and we snapped both tapes.
Yep. So a story for the aspiring label entrepreneurs that are watching. Keep your independence. Never sign with a major label, especially when you're just getting started. And that's what that was our mistake. We were very successful as an independent label, and then we thought we were going to become this major priority at MCA Records. When we signed with Uni, and Uni was a new upstart within MCA, and it was a rock label basically, and they signed two projects: Strong City Records and Eric B. and Rakim. But MCA had Uptown Records,
right?
So, and MCA had Bobby Brown and Jody Watley and Kool and the Gang. Not Kool and the Gang, but I forget one of the members of Kool and the Gang. But long story short, they were the number one black
priority
record label.
Yeah.
All those other artists were the priority. So Strong City, even though we put out some dope music, we were like way down on the totem pole in terms of priorities. And it was upsetting and distressing because, we knew that we had some really classic stuff that we were putting out.
Yeah.
But the MCA distribution people just could not get their arms wrapped around what this label was. So it turned out to be a little disaster, but you learn from your experiences and you move.
Now, how did you meet up with Jazzy J?
I was taking around the first Masters of Ceremonies record, which was called Crime. That was produced by Teddy Riley on MLO Records. Yep. And I took it to a couple, nightclubs, and Jazzy was playing at Danceteria. And I gave him the record. He's like, man, I love this group, Masters of Ceremony. And then he had created, the first Def Jam records were created by Jazzy J.
Yeah.
And they really did not give him any credit. And he was really upset that he didn't get part ownership in Def Jam.
Oh, I bet. I would be too.
Yeah. And I said to him, yo, bro, it's better to have your own than worry about other people trying to give you something that they really don't want to give you.
True.
And we teamed up and we created Strong City Records. And he had a little studio in his apartment on Blondell Avenue in the Bronx. And it was a 16-track recording studio. And he got some really good sound out of it, but it wasn't, the Chung Kings or the 24-track studios that everybody else was recording at. And we made the best out of it. And I take my hats off to Jazzy because he is one of the unsung heroes that needs to get more recognition for his talent. He is super talented.
And that's why we need a Universal Hip Hop Museum to bring out stories like Jazzy J, who people may know only by name and have no idea of the talent of these people.
Correct. So that's just one of the many stories that we have to make sure that people know about.
Yeah. I always tell people we would not be here doing what we do if not for Red Alert and Chuck Chill Out. Because every Friday and Saturday night growing up, we would listen to Chuck on Friday and Red on Saturday, and they pretty much taught us what we knew about hip hop.
We had to make an effort to do it because we couldn't pick them up from our house. We had to get in my car and drive to an elevated parking lot where the signal would pick up from the city, and we would sit in this parking lot and we would just listen to
From
the radio
9 to midnight.
From 9 to midnight.
Crazy.
Couple of times we had local police who would swing by and was like, "What the hell are you guys doing here?" I said, "Look, we explained it," and then after about the second time, they left us alone because they knew. We actually ended up growing up with a lot of those cops.
Yep. Yeah, it was kind of, but we did what we had to do to get the music, because it wasn't, we're an hour north of the city. So, and in the mid 80s, the music wasn't making it up there fast enough for us. So Chuck and Red, they were everything.
Yeah, well, listen, I love all those guys that, were like the brand ambassadors for hip hop early on. The Mr. Magics, the Red Alerts, the Marley Marl, Chuck Chillouts, the Awesome 2, the Supreme Team, all these early radio DJs that had these small little 1 hour, 90-minute shows that people had to tune in late at night or basically to find out the new hip hop songs that were coming out. And those were the pioneering days of hip hop on radio, man. So
you could only get it at nighttime. I remember the first time I heard a hip hop song when it wasn't at nighttime was LL Cool J's "I Need Love" on Kiss FM. After they would play it after Mama Montego in the morning, and you could catch "I Need Love." I was like, "Oh man, there's rap on the radio."
Yeah, it was such a struggle to break through and get the the songs on the radio, but Def Jam and Profile Records with Run DMC and Tommy Boy with Planet Rock and Queen Latifah, and Select Records with UTFO and Kid and Play, and my label with Busy Bee and Strong's and Masters of Ceremony. And Cold Chillin', obviously, with
Roxanne, Fresh and Sleeping Bag, and
the Juice Crew, and Will Sokoloff Sleeping Bag with EPMD and Mantronics.
Hell yeah!
We were the first labels to really get it going, So
yeah, and those were all the labels we would look for when we went out to the mall, and we go out there on Tuesdays and go, all right, let me see what we got. we bought so many cassettes that we had no clue who they were, just based on
album covers.
Yep. We go over to the rap section and go, all right, I'll buy that one.
Hey man, listen, thanks to people like you, and that really the music resonated with, it connected to you guys.
Yeah.
And it was different, it was unique. And back then the music was truly diverse. You would have the Beastie Boys, and LL Cool J, X-Clan, and Public Enemy, and Redman, Masters of Ceremony. And
everybody had their own style.
Everybody had their own style. Now, I don't want to knock today's music, but
you can do that here. It's okay. We do it every week.
It's so homogenous, It's like, man, come on. Is there some originality here?
Yeah. And not even lyricism bothers me. The lack of lyricism, but put in some effort.
Yeah, it's like you said, it's homogenous. The styles are all the same. I'll never forget the first time when we bought Too Short and we popped that in the cassette player and we listened. We never heard anything like that before.
Nope.
Yeah. So I am. It's like I am getting ready to mentor this new artist. And I'll give him a plug on your show. His name is Matt Page. You can look him up on YouTube. He's from Louisiana. The kid got mad talent. He's a great writer. I have a guy that sends me music. Every now and then I get this email from a guy named Gary Dyer, and he's also from Louisiana. He's a producer. And he started sending me emails 2 years ago, and he would say, "Hey, Mr. Bucano, please take a listen to this song. It's something new that I'm producing." And I would write him back, "Oh my God, this is such terrible crap. Please don't."
Stop.
This is not happening, bro. You know? And then he had disappeared for like a year. And then I got an email within maybe 3 weeks ago. And it's from Gary. And I'm like, uh-oh, here we go again. Asking me to listen to something. And he sends me a link to a video. And it's the most profound video from this kid, Matt Page. It's only 1 minute long.
Damn.
And, it's let me get the name of it, but it's a video about what we're going through in the community today. It's a video where it shows him in the middle of the frame, and he's rapping, and he's got Black Lives Matter on his shirt. And then it starts to pull out, and you see two people holding guns at his head. And one is a cop on one side, and on the other side, it's a gangbanger. So he's basically saying, look, you know, Black Lives Matter, yes, but we got problems on both sides.
Yep.
In our own community and with the police. It's not just the police. And then it cuts, and you hear the gunshot. And I'm like, holy shit. Who is this guy?
Because now you're thinking who done it. Which one of those triggers was pulled?
Yeah.
Right. And I'm like, this is so creative. I'm like, yo, this kid is onto something. So I immediately wanted to know more about who the artist was.
Yeah.
And thankfully, thank God I did, because this kid is talented. Now, he is in that same lane a little bit as the Kendrick Lamars and J. Cole's and those guys.
Okay, but those are okay names to mention.
Yeah.
If you started saying Lil somebody or Young somebody, I had started tuning you out.
His songs are, I let people like Rich Nice, who work with the Trackmasters, listen to it, who basically works on Sway in the Morning Show. And he was like, Rocky, you're onto something, man. This kid is special. I said, you know I still got good ears. And so, you know, maybe I need to, you know, play for a few more people to make sure I'm not totally, you know, insane.
It's not just me. It's
not
okay.
It's not me. I'm not smoking crack. You know, my ears still do work. I may be, you know, a little tone deaf, but I can still pick out a good song every now.
I know the content's good.
So Matt Page, I will put my my stamp of approval on his music.
All right, that means we're gonna have to check it out.
Yes, sir.
All right, I have a question, and it's I don't know how to. Okay, what's been the biggest holy shit moment for you since you started the idea of the museum? You know, aside from being here with us, of course.
So, I've had many holy shit moments.
I figured that's what I said. The biggest one. What is the one that just made you? Because we get them on here, much smaller scale than you, I'm sure. But like when we get a new drop from somebody, we're like, "Holy shit! I grew up listening to MC Light, and she just endorsed the show." You know, or we just sat down for an hour with Eric Sermon. What kind of crazy shit? So much smaller scale for us than you, I'm sure. But
yep. So I'll give you two.
Okay.
So, you know, for the first 3 years of the project, I couldn't get any, like I told you guys before, I couldn't get anyone to support this project. You know, even my closest friends in hip hop were like, you know, call me when this gets more closer to, you know, becoming a reality kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, all right, whatever, you know, I'll keep working on it. So, you know, once we got the approval from the city of New York to move forward, it was like, okay, now we got approval. Now, shit, we got to raise some money.
Right.
And every year we would put in applications with the city city council and the state of New York and see if, they would grace us with some sort of funding. And, we get zeros, like, nope, no funding this year, no funding, no funding. And then I get a call during one of the budget cycles from our development team, L&M Development Partners, Josue Sanchez. And he says, Rocky, congratulations. Man, the city just gave you guys $4 million. I'm like, holy shit, what?
They did? What?
I'm like, $4 million? I couldn't believe it, man. I had to see it for myself. He said, I'm going to send you a link to it. It's in the city budget. He sent me the link, and I looked at it, and I must have looked at it for like 20 minutes straight because I could not believe it. $4 million. The first $4 million, came from the city of New York. And I was like, holy shit. This is really moving in the right direction now.
It's a real thing now.
It's a real project now. So I'm jumping around my house and, like a kid at Christmas. I'm like, we did it. We fucking did it. So, that was one of the proudest moments. The second most exciting moment was, having Nas and LL Cool J give me their endorsement for the project.
Nas, that's huge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Two guys that people might have heard once or twice.
Yeah. Those two guys, I love them dearly, and they're big supporters of the project. So is Ice-T. Ice-T is one of our number one supporters as well.
I noticed that, not to interrupt you, but when we made our donation, there were options as to, there was like Ice-T's video, and there was LL's video, and there was a few other videos. So like you could donate under the video of whoever you were watching. But now I noticed that's gone.
Yeah, so we were working with a company called Spot Fund, who allows you to create these, these stories. Like if you wanted to create a story about the museum, you can create your own story on Spot Fund, and then share it with your friends. Say, hey man, I'm really into this organization. I'm creating this campaign to support them. I really believe in their project. So we did that, with LL Cool J, Curtis Blow, EPMD, and other people. But we just thought that there was a better way to do it. So, we're testing and trying different scenarios. We have a new development person that just came on. He's a professional fundraiser, so, that's, we're trying to get more traction on how do we connect the museum's mission to the general public, because the public really has to get behind the project,
right?
In order for this project to go to where it's supposed to go. It's not going to be the LL Cool J's and Nas's and Diddy's. Great to have those guys. Great that they're supporting. But at the end of the day, it's a museum that needs to be supported by people who love hip hop, just ordinary folk. So that's what we're doing now. We're trying to create a campaign that is more rooted in public support than this lofty celebrity appeal.
Right. Yeah. You will accept celebrity donations, most definitely, but that's not going to be your bread and butter. Gotcha.
Yeah, it's not going to be the thing that gets us to the finish line. It's going to be millions of small donations from ordinary folks that just put in $5, $10, $100, whatever they can afford.
Right.
That want to see this project to get to the finish line.
Hip hop was not started by millionaires. It was started by young, poor people, and that's kind of where we're at.
Yeah,
correct.
Because they know what it's like. It's easy to build from the ground up when you're not too high off the ground to begin with. So
that is absolutely correct. So. What we're looking for in terms of financial contributions, obviously we're going to all the corporations who've made money off of the culture. They're high on the list. We're going to private foundations like the Ford Foundation, Bloomberg, and all these other foundations that support other cultural institutions. We're going to them as well. But, the large part of our founding donor campaign is just going to be ordinary folk who love hip hop, who believe that the culture should be preserved and protected and celebrated, who believe that a museum like the University Hip Hop Museum needs to exist, and they will be the ones that will donate $1, $2, $5, $1,000, whatever, to get this project up and running.
It's like everyone listening now. For those of you who are watching, there's a scroll right here. It tells you where to go.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And it will be in the show notes for those of you who are listening on Thursday.
Every donation is tax deductible.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yes.
How do you go? Okay, I do like the, for lack of a better term, the For Us By Us hip hop museum being built by hip hop. I like that. How do you go from that idea to getting King Cuomo to kick in all the money that he did? We've heard that Chris Cuomo is a hip hop fan. Is his brother a fan?
I haven't spoke to the governor, so I'm not sure if he's a fan or not. But I will tell you this: I am thankful for Governor Andrew Cuomo's.
Yeah.
It was the largest grant in the last, what they call the Empire Development cycle. He had never given one organization that size of a grant. And it says something about this project, because what he recognizes, along with the other people who are on the council for the Empire State Development Corporation, is that this museum is going to be an economic development engine for the entire community, creating tourism. When people come to the Bronx and spend money outside of the museum at local restaurants and other stores,
hotels where they're going to need to stay when they come to visit. Yep.
Just shopping in general, traveling, taking taxis and mass transit up to the museum. All that revenue goes back into the city and the state. So, an investment of $3 million, over the lifespan of a museum that's going to be bringing perhaps anywhere between 900,000 to 1.3 million people annually to the Bronx.
His return on investment's just going to be ridiculous.
It's huge. And then we're creating jobs. There'll be more than 1,000 jobs when construction begins. And then when the museum opens, we'll have about 50 full-time jobs there. So, it's jobs, and tourism.
And that's what you need. That's what he needs. That's not so much what you need. But
we need it now more than ever, because we're in a deep recession. So many people are looking for work. We intend to hire people directly from the community, as long as they meet the skill sets that we need.
Right.
We're going to be looking internally within the community first, before we go outside the community to make sure that we hire the right people.
Excellent. And then once you get all that done, then I'll come take a train ride down in an hour and work part-time 4 hours just selling tickets or something.
I'll drive up 7. We'll make it happen.
There you go. Yeah. More than welcome.
Yes. You open, Mr. Throwback Thursday will be there.
Absolutely. And we may, if we can, get a whole lot of posse members from all over the country to come up, and we'll do a get-together and check it out.
Hey, man, maybe you guys could do your show right from the museum.
Oh,
hell yeah!
Yeah, we would love that. We would do a live broadcast from there.
Most definitely.
That'd be great.
Now, one last question to me, because Jamie and I toyed around with the idea many times. We always thought of trying to do like a hip hop con. Now,
you're gonna put things out there to the public. I may have to edit this out. Giving away secrets. Go ahead.
But would that be something that might be of interest to?
Yeah, like a Comic-Con, but have artists around tables taking pictures, signing autographs, whatever, demonstrations.
I think we would have to look at it, but it's interesting. I'm not necessarily a person who goes to the Comic-Con or the different con.
But they're huge. People go.
They're huge. Oh my God,
And the amount of money they spend on the costumes at these comics.
Oh, yeah.
People go full bore. I know people who plan their entire like summer vacation around going out to like San Francisco has a huge one.
San Diego, yeah.
And San Diego, yeah. And New York one.
I'm a person who never likes to say never. So, if the idea is good enough, let's play with it.
Yeah, I always thought it was going to be a good thing for the artists. Yes, you have to take time out of your day and you have to take pictures and whatnot, but you get paid for taking those pictures when people are signing autographs.
That's one of the biggest things that we hope to do is really figure out how to help a lot of these artists generate some additional income. Many of them, don't make any money.
Right.
Trying to find ways to reinvent something where they can leverage their legendary names so that they can earn some more money.
Because they've fallen victim to industry rule number 4080.
We're 100% behind that. We want people to flourish and make money.
And that's why we do the show. We can't make the money except for spinning their stuff on Spotify. But that's what we have an artist of the month each month, and that's what we tell everybody to do. Say, okay, listen to the artist, and then when you go to bed at night, leave the artist on repeat so that they get the nickels and dimes from the spins.
Stream it for 8 hours while you're sleeping.
Yeah. But our mission when we started this was to let people know that the artists that we grew up listening to are still out there doing things. They're still putting out music, even though they're not on some major label. And a lot of them come to us now and say, "Hey, I've got new music. Will you play it?" Of course I will.
Hell, we got threatened by Redman if we didn't. Reggie's a little high strung.
He's a hot topic,
He is a hot topic. That's what he told us anyway.
Yeah,
that's cool. That's great to that you guys can have your platform where you can really support these artists and we hope to do the same when the museum finally opens its doors.
Yep. So what do we have to look forward in the near future aside from the revolution of hip hop coming back? What does UHHM have on tap?
Well, hopefully
say post COVID.
Hopefully everyone will tune in next Monday, September 21st, for the Hip Hop for Peace program that we're putting together. That will be at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it will be streamed live on the Universal Hip Hop Museum's channel.
Okay.
Revolution of Hip Hop will open October 8th, and hopefully it will stay open and we won't have to close it again. Hopefully there won't be a second wave like they're predicting. And we have a virtual gala fundraiser that's going to be somewhere between now and the end of the year. Hopefully that'll be a big fundraiser for us, and then start a construction. Sometime between now and December.
That's a key. Break ground. That's
breaking ground, which is going to be the most important and the happiest day of my life.
It's real then. It's really real at that point.
When the shovels go in the ground and the cranes are pulling up the dirt, then it's happening.
All right. Anybody else have anything? Let me check the chat here.
Go from digging in the crates to digging in the ground. I love it.
All right. I look like we're good. So I want to thank you for hanging out with us.
Yes, by all means. Thank you very much for joining
Let the posse know where they can find you and the Universal Hip Hop Museum online.
Yes, so our website is uhhm.org, like it says in the crow over there. And they can find us on Instagram at UHH Museum. Same for Twitter. Facebook is the same. And that's pretty much it.
All right. Yeah, go over there and follow him on Twitter. Make Adam work.
There you go.
Well, Robbie, thank you so much for joining us.
I appreciate it. Your show is great. I enjoyed it.
Thank you much. And we will be in touch. We're not going to leave you alone.
All right. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Rock.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Very enlightening.
Yes.
Rocky Bucano from the Universal Hip Hop Museum, our special guest for episode 346. I cannot wait for this thing to open, man.
No, I can't either.
It's a 1-hour train ride. You know I'm going to be down there that first weekend.
I will probably drive to your house and take the train with you.
I don't care what I got going on that weekend. But
Yep. Yeah, no.
I'm sure it'll be a weekend. I highly doubt he'll do it on a Tuesday.
Yeah, probably. And I'll pack up the Roadcaster and we'll make shit happen.
Absolutely. So, I believe we're going to take our final break of the evening, and when we come back, we're just going to do, I would think, just do the record of the week at this point.
I
looking at
don't even know if we'll do that. We may just do the old to the new and move it on. I'm not sure.
You know what? So we'll take our final break. I think you're probably right. Looking at the time,
because I'm pushing 205 on the Roadcaster, which so
yes, Gail, lyrics too. So
of course
we're gonna.
If you just want to throw right now, if you want to throw to the.
You know what? Let's throw to the old to the new, and then we'll take our final break, and we'll come back with lyrics after that. We have an old to the new from friend of the show, the guy who blames me for everything, Billy Dans, brings us an old to the new. It's called Take a Step. And we hope you enjoy it. Brought to you by Billy Dans and the Mr. Throwback Thursday podcast.
MOP is definitely about it, you know.
Y'all niggas are hoes, paint pictures with your flows, but I live it, not nearly Picasso. See me rolls through the trenches, lit, you not. I cleared out the spot on the benches. Tax them, treat them like hip-hop dependents. Come on, dog, you a minion, pretending you winning. Reppin' since the beginning, never catch me off my pivot. I'm all the way in it, my exquisite is vivid. The platinum package, y'all got limits. Go right this way. Take a step in my direction. Follow me. You're all welcome. Take a step in my direction. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on. If I give you the full clip, it's to put the bullshit into remission. I showed you the way. I told you to play, but you ain't listen. When I spit it, sit in the pit of your stomach like a Christian. Fucking intervention. It's exactly my intentions. You niggas are regular. I'm a different invention. How you a competitor? I'm in a different dimension. It's cool, you got your cheddar up. You still come up missing. You find you with the old heads fishing. Go right this way. Take a step in my direction. Follow me. You're all welcome. Take a step in my direction. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on. Fuck you, your honor. I'm in the pool with piranhas. In the ghetto where I got medals of honor. You from Brownsville. Right. You got it on you. Right. So it's like American Express. I ain't the nigga you should press. In the no-fly zone, stress-free while y'all stress. Remember OG and blow holes through y'all chest. I vote to get a ban from IG. I'm not impressed. You know what it is. Don't get left. Go right this way. Take a step in my direction. Follow me. You're all welcome. Take a step in my direction. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on. Come on. I'll never treat you wrong. Come on. I'll never cheat or lie. Come on. Or even put you on. Come on.
They really are like their record. Shout out to Billy.
Go.
Your one and done for episode 346. Friend of the show, Billy Dans with Take a Step.
Again, you did it. Old to the new.
God damn it. I do that every goddamn time. And I'm reading right on it. Old to the new. And it's highlighted.
I know it is.
God damn. Yeah, everybody has their own stupid little hang-up. The old to the new for episode 346. Billy Dan's would take a step. Probably because I had, one and done in my brain because we didn't do it this week.
Yeah, because that's the natural next step.
Yeah, and you know what? I actually like that one and done that we have, so I can't wait for it to be for next week.
It'll be next
it's going to
week.
be carried over because I actually listened to it today. So
good for you.
So the old to the new for episode 346. Friend of the show, Billy Dan's, even though he blames me for shit, with Take a Step.
Everything.
We're going to take our final break. When we come back, I will read lyrics, and then we're going to put a bow on episode 346 of Mr. Throwback Thursday.
Yay. Let's pull up the Bill Reed's lyrics video.
Dude, he basically invited us to record there.
He did. I told you, man.
Yeah.
Making connections.
Maybe you can bring your stuff. Well,
maybe.
Yeah, maybe. We'll have special shirts for that.
Hells yes. One's kind of like this one.
Mm-hmm. But we'll get that with like a UHHM logo on them
Hell
too.
Yeah.
All right, you want to throw a drop and then throw some lyrics, and then we're already at 2:10.
Yeah, I know. Well, part of that is bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, we had like 5 or 6 minutes of waiting for Rocky to come in.
Yeah.
But
and I'm just pulling up the piano because I got rid of it. There it is. Bam. Yes, that was the piano.
I am most definitely winning in the Kings of Sport League.
Look at me. Look at the difference between me and the guy I was playing. I mean, he had a ton of people playing tonight, but
I am most definitely losing in the
as am I. It sounds familiar.
In our league.
Hey, Larry.
Fucking John Connor and giving me shit tonight.
Slayton's got 16 points right now. He's the only guy I got playing. And I'm a 2% chance to win. I'm down 123 to 111.
I'm down worse than that.
That's our league.
I'm down 120 to 86.
The Kings of Sport League, I'm up 124 to 64.
Kings of Sport League, I'm up 138 to 107.
Damn.
Or 104. 138 to 104. And
I still got Antonio Brown to go tonight. And the Denver defense.
Mm-hmm.
I'm stomping this dude.
Yeah, puddle stomping.
We're the Bounty Boys. I don't know. Anyway. For those of you who are live with us and happen to be patrons, I got an email from Wesley, and she told me that our mugs should, assuming they come out of the kiln okay, should be shipping out to me end of this week.
Wow.
Yes.
Alrighty then.
Hats, I don't have a word on yet. I think they're next month.
Yeah. Let's throw hey Larry, let's throw a drop and then
Oh yeah, I need one of those. That's what I went over there for.
That is what you went over there for.
Hot goddamn mess.
Well, that's what happens when we get really good interviews. He was great, by the way.
Yes, I get
completely different vibe than Ernie.
Well, yeah. There we go. Let's bring the volume up on that. Let's come over here and we'll hit this over here. Yeah, see, that's all the shit that you guys don't ever get to see. Not that you want to see, but I'll bring this up here. And we'll come back in with a drop with a Shri. Who's your mama?
Everybody, MC Search.
Hey, what's up? It's your boy MC Search, third base officially in the building, Searchlight Publishing. And you're listening to my man right now, Mr. Throwback Thursday's official podcast. Let's get it popping. It is not a game, people.
But it starts with Bill.
I'm Bill S. Preston. It's called reading. Top to bottom, left to right. Group words together as a sentence. Take Tylenol for any headaches. Might offer any cramps.
Most people probably don't listen to the lyrics, but they should.
Welcome to Bill Reed's Lyrics.
Do you still do this?
I do.
I do too. Okay.
I do. Even though it's not on camera, I'm still.
Yeah, I do the same thing.
Welcome back, Mr. Throwback Thursday, episode 346. It is indeed time for Bill Reed's Lyrics.
It is.
So, without any kind of delay, because when we're on the mic, there won't be no delay.
No delaying.
Hit me up with some Bill Reed's Lyrics, man.
Let me do that. Let me come over here into the private chat. Hit this. Wow.
Wow. Oh, wow. 2 weeks in a row.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we control
not what I
C, and then we control V.
That's how I got it to you.
Actually, it's Command C. I
Yeah,
forget.
same thing.
This is an Apple product.
Mm-hmm.
So Command V.
Dookie.
Milky. And
I'm back. So.
All right.
We're going to do...
I'm surprised this wasn't the
other one?
Yeah.
No, I'm pretty sure that's going to be all new ones for that segment. We're going to do the big pun.
I
verse.
figured as much. That's the one I was looking at. And I was like, which I know where he's going with this.
Yeah. So, with no type of ado, Sesame Street Grover Styley, whether nearer or further, we will cue the motherfucking piano.
Is me, pun, Ma. Let me ask you a question. Can I eat some pussy? I know you got a lot of it. Uh-huh. Mommy, I like it wet. Yummy, yummy. Let me bite your clit. Wipe the tip of your nipples down with ice and shit. Fight your hips. Is the ghetto moving? I leave you wet and soaking once I start licking and stroking. I put my dick in your throat and start soaking your glands. Baby, open your pants. I'm about to give you an oral exam. One in a man. I'm a fucking machine. Busting your spleen. Guarantee not to bust through your screen. Where the party at? In my crib, Nickelback. Make sure they over 18. I ain't trying to catch a bid, Nickelback. Underage? I won't allow it. Especially with these high schools of culos like Medina Howard. I bought a bottle like Master P. That should last for me. I'm a Don with a massive key. Actually, we're here on Luke's train. Fast 100 proof gin and to the motherfucking roof end.
Yay, yay.
Yay, yay.
That's what she said.
Bill Reed's Lyrics for episode 346 off of another Luke album.
Red Rocket.
Quite wordy.
Yes.
Quite wordy indeed. Red Rocket. Really don't have much to put on top of that other than the fact that Fresh Flicks will be coming up within, what, next week?
I think it's next week,
September
yes.
23rd or 24th. Which night did we decide?
I don't know if it's Wednesday or Thursday. We will announce next week, and I'll put it out on Patreon as soon as we know.
It's either going to be Wednesday the 23rd or Thursday the 24th, but
Yes.
we'll figure it out from there.
We have to consult the patrons.
Yes, we do. And we'll be watching Tougher Than Leather.
We will.
So that's going to do it for episode 346. I assume that it is time for Phil Collins to make his weekly appearance.
It is. It is time to take us home.
Bill Reed's Lyrics, our interview, the old to the new, everything we brought you tonight was fueled by Death, the world's strongest coffee, Death Wish Coffee. Find them on Facebook, Twitter, or at deathwishcoffee.com. Use the code THROWBACK, save 10% off your order. Marshall Fox and Eric Sermon bring you Def Rugs at defrugs.com. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, all at Def Rugs. Handmade, high-quality hip-hop themed rugs. that you're going to want to put your feet on. Jamie has 3 of them at this point.
I do.
So. Let's see. Heather Lent has the world's listen, bittersweet candy.
Say it.
Our world's best candy.
Yes.
It's candy and chocolate that's handmade, small batch, different, and
delicious.
Check her out on Facebook or order at bittersweetcandy.com. Use our code throwback and save 10% off of your order. Pumice Tea Mendola, Plumbus.
Yes.
Has Melted Mics, MLTDMICS.com. Use our code Mr. Throwback Thursday. Save 10% off your order of hip-hop themed t-shirts, which are usually pretty funny. He's got some great stuff to pick from. Etsy.com/shop/geek like you. The geek shall inherit the earth.
Yay.
Do not forget about Jamie's wonderful project. Hip-hop, Mr. Throwback Thursday theme stuff. Pop culture themed stuff, all sorts of really, really cool themed stuff.
Yeah.
Don't forget the social media network for the show. Visit us at MrThrowbackThursday.com. You can go there and click on the show notes and check out the links for everything we talked about during the news. You'll get information on the Universal Hip Hop Museum. I'm sure we'll have links for that in there as well.
We will.
And you can leave
all you have to do is click on Rocky's name and it'll all come up.
Leave us a voice message. Follow us on Twitter at @the_MR_TBT, at Bill_MR_TBT, which is also my Instagram feed, and Jamie's Instagram feed at Mr. Throwback Thursday. And now you can subscribe to the newest Instagram feed, which is Bill Reads Lyrics.
That's all one word. It's at Bill Reads Lyrics.
It's its own Instagram feed now. So for those who can't get enough of Bill Reads Lyrics, that's your answer to that. It's shout out time.
Yay.
Shout outs to the lady who just said on Instagram, Gail Dunmeyer, Manny Baez, Sarah Henderson, John Henderson, Hugo Gonzalez, Sanket Patel, Teresa Lynn Simple Luxuries at teresalins.com, Kat Malark, Clay Arsenault, Fred Diedrich, Raphael Ward, Jason Eckerd, and the Shrieking Warrior Jennifer Buchanan. They get mentioned every single week for one reason and one reason only. It's because they got 5 on it.
Or more. Hey, and this time being Thursday, welcome to Virginia, Manny Baez.
Yes. We wish you all the best on your move. You and Jordan, always in our thoughts.
Yes, he'll be a half an hour away from me.
Very cool. Maybe you get together and have some lunch with him.
That's the plan. Maybe get him on the show.
That'd be even better. Get them both on the show.
Yay.
Anyway, they got 5 on it because they are patrons. And if you want to get your name mentioned every week, you should become a patron. Go to patreon.com/MRTBT. Don't forget our friends in the industry, as always, the Kings of Sport, Brother Nate Milton, Marcus Vanderberg, the Jock and Nerd Podcast, Anthony Imran, and Rug Boy. Death Wish Coffee has the only other podcast that can say they're fueled by death because it is their product. It is the Fueled by Death cast with the incredible Jeff. We Guess Who's Talking with Mr. Long. We have the Search Says podcast with MC Search.
Yes.
We have our friend Talkin' Ty on her webpage at brooklyntynyc.com. If you're on Facebook, you can join Home of the TBT Posse. You can join Real Rap for the Old School Hip Hop Heads. You can join all of those hip hop themed pages. We're spread all over the place everywhere.
Yes.
We mentioned him during the Milk D article, but the hardest working turntablist in the world is DJ B on itsfreshradio.com. At Beezus the DJ. Get that Fresh Radio app for your phone. Listen to us every Thursday from 6 to 8 a.m. and then stick around for the All Request Show.
Yes. Oh, and coming up in a few weeks, 10-10.
Yes.
10-10 wins will be the 10th anniversary of Fresh Radio. It started on 10-10-10.
Wow. Okay. That's a big thing. So we'll have to make sure we tune in on that. So don't forget to subscribe. You can get, by the way, you can get DJB also on your phones by downloading the app. It's available on both iTunes and Stitcher and anywhere else. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, review, all that good stuff. You know where to find us at this point.
I hope so.
Otherwise,
you're not listening to this.
Until next week, episode 347 will be with you. Until then, be good to each other. Be safe. Wash your hands.
Wash your butt.
Wear your mask.
Over your nose.
Over your nose. Yes. Yeah. And share the good word. Keep it classic. And until next week, everybody, always remember.
New school stale. Old school fresh.
Fresh, fresh, fresh. Yo, that's fresh.
To everybody who joined us on the multiple feeds tonight and to all the patrons, thank you very much for joining us. We will see you next week for episode 347. Until then, be good to each other. Peace.